My name is Paul Mampilly, and as a citizen of the United States of America, I proudly fly the Stars and Stripes in my front yard, stand for the national anthem, and pledge allegiance to the flag. And I am grateful, so grateful, for the visionaries who've truly made this nation a beacon of democracy so that my family and I can pursue the American dream. Today, I'm returning the favor by issuing an urgent message for my fellow Americans. A bold message you won't hear from the mainstream media or from the talking heads in Washington. Yet, it's a message so woven into the fabric of our nation that it would be treason not to share it. In the following video, I reveal everything. You'll see evidence for an economic upgrade that's so big and so powerful, I'm calling it America 2.0. Those at the forefront, hopefully including you, will reap massive financial rewards. However, those who are unprepared will be left behind. Even worse, they could see absolute financial devastation. So please, take some time now to watch, as you'll see this upgrade is not only imminent, it's already underway.
Hi, I'm John Daly, and joining me today is the greatest investor of our time, Paul Mampilly. Paul, thanks for being here.
Thanks, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. Now, you've stated that America, this country that we love so much, is about to undergo a massive economic upgrade.
That's right, John, and this upgrade is going to be big. So big that citizens from every edge of our great nation, from farmers to doctors, and from 10-year-olds to 100-year-olds, will reap the benefits. And I believe that's just the start.
Wow. Now, you've even stated, and I quote, "This upgrade will fulfill our forefathers' vision of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all."
That's exactly right, which is why I'm calling it America 2.0.
America 2.0. Okay, now, I know this might come as a surprise to many of you who are watching. After all, the so-called experts would have us believe that America is falling apart. Here are a few recent headlines. The United States is broken as hell. The American dream may be dead. If you want the American dream, you should try Sweden.
John, nothing against Sweden, but the American dream is alive and well right here, right now, in the good old US of A. In fact, I have research that proves we're about to see the stock market soar, that the Dow will shoot up to 50,000 and then 75,000 and even 100,000. And real estate will soar as well, at least 100% in the months to come. And those who position themselves at the forefront of America 2.0 will experience more prosperity than they ever thought possible, John. And I'm not talking about 100% or 500% gains. I am talking about stocks that could surge over 1,000%. It's all tied back to this. This $1 bill and what I'm about to spend it on.
Well, I can't wait to see where this goes. However, you just made some bold statements, and coming from anyone else, I'd probably dismiss them. So before we move on, I think it's important our viewers know exactly who you are and how every prediction you've made has come to fruition with stunning accuracy.
Sounds good, John.
Now, if Paul's name and face seem familiar, it's likely because you've seen him featured on major networks before, making bold predictions about the economy and making even bolder predictions about the stock market. To show you exactly how bold and how precise they are, take a look at this chart of the stock market. In September of 2008, as the stock market was heading toward all-time lows, Paul publicly stated the economic collapse is over and went all in on the stock market. This was contrary to the mainstream media who, during the exact same time, said the pain will not end soon. Worry a great deal about an economic depression. There is no end in sight for the downturn. Paul was right, they were wrong. As a result, Barron's ranked the hedge fund he managed as the world's best, and Kiplinger put it in the top 1%. Paul made headlines again in May of 2011. America was in the midst of another stock market panic as the market dropped 20%. Paul went on Fox News and told them he was bullish on companies like Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. The hosts were shocked and in disbelief. Yet all three of those stocks took off, giving those who invested the chance to make over 400%, 300%, and 800%. Now let me give you one more example. In October of 2016, Paul stated that the Dow would soar over 25,000, professing, "Every ounce of my personal research is screaming buy. We are entering the biggest bull market in U.S. history." Meanwhile, the expert said the U.S. job market is overheating. Stocks enter bear market. Dow could plunge 17,000 points. Yet the Dow did exactly what Paul said it would do. Those who listened to Paul went on to reap 1,410% in total gains, enough to turn every $100,000 into a $1.4 million fortune. Each and every time Paul said the market would go up, it went up. In 2008, in 2011, and even in 2016. Paul, this is incredible.
And you know what, John? Here's the really exciting news. The same exact data that told me to buy in each of these scenarios is flashing by again, this time with both hands.
So I'm assuming those who listen to your insight will have the chance to make a fortune, right?
Yes, but this time, I believe the gains will be safer, bigger, and faster, much faster.
And that's because the U.S. is on the cusp of this major economic upgrade that you call America 2.0.
America 2.0, that's right. Our economy is going to roar with life in a way never seen before. I believe it will be capitalism in its finest hour, John. Those who position themselves at the forefront of America 2.0 will experience more prosperity than they ever imagined possible. So I mentioned, I'm not talking about 100% or 500% gains. John, I'm talking about stocks that could surge over 1,000%.
Wow, 1,000%. Now, once again, what you're saying may sound a little too good to be true, which is why before this event, I asked for Paul's personal track record. I went through every trade he has made to verify that he's the real deal. And what I found was astonishing. Now, I'm going to show you a few examples of the investments he made. Take a look. He made a 290% gain on Whole Foods, a 320% gain on Olympus, a 350% gain on Exact Sciences, a 690% gain on Ariad Pharmaceuticals, and a massive 2,500% gain on Sarepta Therapeutics. In fact, during the worst of the 2008 crisis, on December 22nd, Paul bought shares of a mortgage company that has shot up 3,700%. Now, I'll show you some more trade examples in a moment. Now, my point is, when Paul says massive gains are possible, well, they aren't just possible. He's made them again and again and again.
And to be fair, John, these are great examples. Not all trades work out this perfect.
Well, we all know that investing carries risk, and past performance isn't indicative of future results. Now, opportunities like this are rare, but they're out there again, and you want to help our viewers find them.
I do, which is why I'm going to give them this report I have here. It reveals my #1 rated stock. It's a little-known company that isn't just positioned to profit from America 2.0, it will be essential to building America 2.0. And if they buy this stock today, John, they can scoop it up for about $10.
Only $10? Now that's amazing. Now, you also have a second report as well.
I do, and I have it right here. This one is a blacklist of 100 American icons that I believe are destined to fail. These are so-called safe companies that many people own, but my research says they're destined to fall by 90% or more.
Wow, now it's hard to imagine that happening during an economic upgrade, an era of prosperity.
It is, but just think about what happened to Sears, Blockbuster, and Toys R Us, John. They were all mighty companies that anchored our malls, retail outlets. And where are they now? They're vacated and falling apart, and their stocks, they've fallen to mere pennies or even zero. And this has all happened during a strong economy. So I want to equip our viewers with both of these reports today.
Wow, that's awesome. You could charge hundreds of dollars for these reports, if not thousands. So why are you being so generous?
I feel a deep sense of responsibility to show my fellow Americans how this is going to unfold and how they can profit. Look, I love our nation. My dad gave up a lot to get me here, and I worked long and hard to become a citizen. It was worth, for me, every ounce of sacrifice and sweat. I am so proud to be an American, and I'm honored to share this with as many other Americans as I can. And it's critical that our viewers are at the forefront of America 2.0 so that they can invest in the companies that will help build a better and stronger and more robust America, so they can experience what it's like to watch tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of dollars flood into their bank account.
That is amazing. And Paul, you're already making it happen. Now, the last time Paul put a presentation together like this, he helped over 50,000 fellow Americans reach a level of prosperity they never thought possible. Now, I'm going to show you a few quick examples. This is Brian Thomas. He's a life insurance agent from San Jose. He watched Paul's presentation and acted upon his specific investment recommendations. 2 months later, he sent Paul this note: "My portfolio is up $167,000. Susie Morgan, a portrait artist from St. Louis, is another person who saw Paul's presentation. She followed his insight and sent him this note: "Your advice has helped us make a $300,000 gain in our retirement portfolio. You are the man. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." And Tom Jackson, a Cajun chef from Louisiana, wrote Paul this note: "Because of you, I am now up a total of $350,000. You are making a big difference in my life and that of my children as well." Now, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other folks just like these. Not all of them are making six figures yet. Some just got started and are making tens of thousands. Others are making millions. I'll share a few examples in a moment. But Paul, these are absolutely incredible.
Thank you, John, and thank you so much for sharing them. It's humbling, really. And I think it's important that our viewers see them because, you know what? It doesn't matter where you're at in your life. You can partake in America 2.0 and reap massive rewards.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you could be a chef like Tom, an artist like Susie, or an insurance salesman like Brian.
Exactly right. It doesn't matter if you have a diploma from Harvard or a diploma from the School of Hard Knocks. All you really need is a burning desire to pursue the American dream, along with a few of the bold facts that I'm going to share with you today. And armed with my insight, I believe our viewers won't just profit from America 2.0, I believe they'll also be part of building America 2.0. And then as the Dow soars to 100,000 and as real estate soars 100%, they will see an unimaginable amount of money flowing into their accounts. And it all comes back, John, to this $1 bill and how I'm going to spend it.
Now, I can't wait to see your explanation, but before we dive into that, I want to address something. When you first talked to me about the Dow 100,000 and real estate going up 100%, I had my doubts.
I know you did, John, and I can understand where you're coming from.
And I had those doubts despite knowing all I know about you, your track record, your reputation, and how many people you've helped. But then I saw a short presentation you gave to your internal research team that really opened my eyes. Now, I bring this up because I think that presentation will help our viewers see the inevitable. So I grabbed a clip of it, and with your permission, I'd like to show it to our viewers.
Absolutely, John. If it helped you, it's going to help them too.
Great. Again, the following recording is a presentation Paul gave to his internal team members during a video conference. The recording is a bit raw, but by the time it's done, you will see that the Dow 100,000 and a 100% surge in real estate isn't just probable, it's virtually written in stone.
Now, if you think I'm overly optimistic, well, good. That means you're shrewd. You should question anyone who claims the Dow will soar to 100,000. After all, the stock market has already soared to new highs. So, how much higher can stocks possibly go? Well, let me show you. Now, pay close attention because what you're about to see will forever, I believe, change how you look at the stock market. I'm going to pan out. As you can see, this chart, this isn't from the last 10 years. It's actually from about 1940 to 1950. This era was called America's Golden Age. And after going up for a full decade, from around Dow 100 to Dow 300, an astronomical 200% growth, few could see how the stock market could keep going up. The idea of Dow 1000 must have seemed ludicrous, yet it continued to soar to that level over the next decade, going up a full 1,000%. It happened again from 1980 to 1990, what I call the boomer age. After going up for a full decade from roughly 800 to 2,400, an astronomical 200%, few could see how the Dow could keep going up. The idea of Dow 10,000 probably seemed ludicrous as well. Yet stocks, they continued to soar a full 1,000%. 1,000%. Are you seeing the pattern here? Today, we're in another solid 10-year bull market. It is identical to what happened in the 1940s and 1980s. Stocks have gone up roughly 200% over the last decade. And just like the idea that Dow 1000 and Dow 10,000 seemed ludicrous back then, Dow 100,000 likely seems ludicrous to you now. But that's exactly what's about to happen. Once again, based on my research, I believe stocks will continue to surge a full 1,000%, sending the Dow to 100,000 over the next decade. This market is going up, and it's going up fast. Now, some of you may think I'm a perma bull, but I'm not. I am a professional investor, and all my research is based on facts. For example, in 1999, I was a chartered financial analyst at Deutsche Bank managing biotech stocks. I came across some disturbing data. I warned my boss that the market was about to crash and that we needed to go to cash. You know what my boss told me? As long as the music is playing, you've got to keep dancing. Well, I don't dance for Wall Street. I stand for my clients. I sold my stocks and eventually moved my money into the Prudent Bear Fund. At first, I admit it was hard, but then the market turned, and while the stock market crashed, my investments, they went up. My boss got fired, and I was promoted. My point is this: I know the difference between a bubble and a true market boom. And right now, I'm telling you, the facts are clear. We're in a boom. But it won't just be the stock market going up. Home values, the cornerstone of the American dream, will skyrocket too. Now, I know the real estate market has been on a tear. Take a look at this chart that reflects median home values. One has to wonder, how much further could it go up? Well, once again, this isn't a recent chart. Our government, it started collecting real estate data in 1963, and this chart that you see reflects prices from 1980 to 1990. And take a look at what happened. The price of a median house went from roughly $70,000 up to $110,000, about a 66% increase. The idea of homes going up over 100% from there to $260,000, I bet it probably seemed ludicrous, yet that's exactly what happened. And today, we have the exact same scenario unfolding. prices bottomed at $210,000 and have shot up to $320,000, a 66% increase. And the idea of homes going up 100% from here to 640,000 probably seems pretty ludicrous. But based on the data, real estate will do exactly that. Exactly that. Again, I know this real estate boom might still be hard for you to believe, but I want to be clear. I'm not a permanent bull in the real estate market either. All of my research is based on fact. In 2007, I was at the hedge fund managing money for the Royal Bank of Scotland, Swiss aristocracy, and British royalty. I told my co-manager, the real estate bubble is imploding. It's going to take the financial system with it. After I showed him the data, he gave me control of all assets, and I was able to navigate a tough market, helping our fund go from 1.3 billion in assets to 5.8 billion. We earned a world's best ranking by Barron's, and we were listed in the top 1% by Kiplinger. My point being, I know the difference between a bubble and a true market boom. And right now, the facts, they are crystal clear. We are in a real estate boom. The government's own data proves my point. For example, this is a chart showing mortgage payments as a percentage of income. And get this, they're at their lowest rate in recorded history. That means people will have absolutely no problems paying their mortgages. So home prices will have no problem doubling from here. You can also see this reflected on mortgage delinquency rates. They're hovering near all-time lows under 3%. Isn't that incredible? Isn't it exciting to see our fellow Americans thriving?
Well, it certainly is exciting to see Americans thriving. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that presentation proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are on the precipice of a major economic boom. Paul, anything to add?
Well, I'm glad you showed that, John. I'm actually going to reference a few of those charts in a moment. And I guess all I can add to this is that my number one stock, the company inside this report here, is a company that is perfectly positioned to benefit from the real estate and stock market boom. I really believe it could soar 1,000%. Now, this won't happen overnight, of course, but this economic upgrade, John, America 2.0, is going to be the biggest, absolutely the biggest economic boom in history. And in that presentation, I talked about the golden age and the boomer age. And well, America 2.0, I believe, will be bigger than both of those, but get this, combined.
Wow. Now, with that said, the questions are beginning to flood in right now. The most common one can be summed up by Lindsay, who says, "Thank you, Paul. This is refreshing. But what does this all have to do with a $1 bill?"
Well, John, actually it has everything to do with it, especially how this $1 bill flows throughout the economy. You see, if I take this $1 bill, John, and stuff it, say, into my bank account or hide it underneath my mattress, what happens?
Well, it really does nothing. It just kind of sits there.
Right, it just sits there. But if I use this $1 bill to buy a cup of coffee, thousands of people will benefit.
Thousands?
Thousands, John. And let me show you. I've got it right here on this slide. The coffee shop owner will use this dollar to buy a loaf of bread from a baker. The baker will use it to buy wheat from a farmer. The farmer will use it, well, to buy a cup of coffee. And this cycle keeps going. I call this cycle economic velocity.
So that $1 becomes $3 worth of economic velocity.
And that's a simple explanation. In reality, that $1 bill will keep getting passed around, and it keeps going and going, fueling more and more economic velocity. In sum, if there's money flowing from one hand to the next, if economic velocity is high, then we know our economy will expand. If it is low, if people are stuffing money away, the economy will shrink. And right now, John, our economic velocity is high. It's screaming high, and I believe it's about to go higher, much, much, much higher.
Okay, how can you be so certain?
Because there are three catalysts that fuel economic velocity. Now, this is important, so pay close attention. The first is the demographic catalyst. This is when a massive group of people fuel the economy by spending money. The second is the capital catalyst. This is when our government fuels the economy with pro-business policies by slashing taxes, cutting interest rates, or unwinding regulation. And the third is the innovation catalyst. This is when a surge of new technologies hit the market at one time, fueling economic growth. Here's the thing, John. Just one of these financial catalysts can spur economic growth. But when three of these financial catalysts converge, economic velocity starts ripping, and our economy, it soars. Remember in my presentation, John, when I showed the chart of the Dow? I'm going to pull a similar one up right now. Let's take a look.
Of course. Now, how the market went up 200%, then on to 1,000% twice. And now you believe it's happening for a third time?
Right. Well, the first time is known as the Golden Age. The stock market, it soared from 100 up to nearly 1,000. That's because of economic velocity. And take a look. There was a demographic catalyst after World War II. 8 million men came home from overseas, and they had uncashed paychecks. So you had a lot of men with a lot of money who were ready to start families.
So economically speaking, that's a big cash injection.
Right, and that converged with a capital catalyst. The US government passed the GI Bill, helping these men get loans to buy homes and start businesses. And the government also lowered interest rates. They slashed taxes and started the Interstate Highway Project. This also converged with innovation. TVs started showing up in people's living rooms, new appliances in people's kitchens, and credit cards in people's wallets.
So there were actually three catalysts converging, and economic velocity took off.
And the Dow, it soared from roughly 100 to 1,000. So those who invested in the stock market made a 1,000% gain. And those who chose to invest in companies that helped fuel this economic velocity, they made a fortune. Take, for example, General Electric. This company was at the forefront of selling everything from radios to TVs to appliances. And their stock, listen to this, went up an unbelievable 2,200%. And then the same thing happened from 1980 to 2000. This is during the boomer age. It's a clear pattern. There was a demographic catalyst as baby boomers, 72 million of them, turned 35 and then entered their peak spending years. They started buying houses, cars, starting families, and as they spent more and more money, economic velocity, it soared. So the capital catalyst saw lower interest rates, easier access to the stock market, and looser government regulation. The innovation catalyst, this came from the rise of the internet. And new companies were being formed every week, and productivity absolutely soared. Economic velocity, it took off, and dot-com boom was born.
And the Dow soared from 1,000 to over 10,000, another 1,000% gain.
Exactly, and once again, those who invested in the stock market, they did incredibly well. But those who invested in the companies that were at the absolute forefront of economic velocity, those folks, they made a complete, utter fortune. Intel, for example, was at the forefront of the internet and computer boom. It went up, listen to this, 8,400%, John, 8,400%. Safeguard Scientifics, which invests in tech startups, this went up 14,000%. And Walmart, which delivered the goods to all the baby boomers, soared 39,000%.
These gains are really incredible. So you believe the same thing will happen during America 2.0?
Exactly. For the third time, we could see the stock market soar a full 1,000% during this era. that I call America 2.0. And here's why. We have the demographic catalyst. These are 87 million millennials who are now entering their prime spending years. These millennials are finally moving out of their parents' houses and spending all that money they've saved. We also have the capital catalyst. We're near the lowest interest rates in history, sitting under 3%. We also have very low taxes. Add to this the effort by the government to ease up on regulation, allowing businesses to operate more freely. And as a result, our economic velocity is ramping up. Now let's take a look at the third factor. The innovation catalyst is even more impressive. Just look at them. 5G, the Internet of Things, autonomous vehicles, artificial intelligence, smartphones, green energy, and a host of other technologies that are flooding the economy. And the Dow, it's set to soar from 10,000 all the way to 100,000. We are merely at the start of this historic rally, John.
So, I just want to be clear. This is the third time all three of these catalysts have converged.
That's right. This is the third time in history that all three have converged. But this one will be much, much bigger than our last economic booms. As I mentioned earlier, it could be bigger than the golden age and bigger than the boomer age combined. It will literally transform America, which is why I'm calling it America 2.0.
Okay, so how can you be so confident though?
Because John, never in the history of the world have all three financial catalysts been this big. These financial catalysts are absolutely massive. The demographic catalyst is bigger than ever before. The innovation catalyst is also bigger than ever before. And the capital catalyst is also bigger than ever before.
So that's why we will see profit opportunities like never before.
Yes, the big profits we've seen are merely glimpses of what's to come. When you add it all up, we could see $121 trillion flooding the US economy.
$121 trillion?
I know, John, it's a number almost too hard to fathom. But by comparison, if you look at this chart here, if the golden age was a stack of money this big, and if the baby boomer age was a stack of money this big, then America 2.0 is this big.
Now, that's incredible. So it is literally bigger than the last two economic booms combined?
Exactly right. That's right.
Wow. Okay, now a lot of questions are coming in. I want to address them really quick.
Let's get to them.
Larry wrote this. I'm a big fan, Paul. Curious, are you the only one calling for this bull market?
I'm one of the few bold enough to step out of the crowd and think differently. But of the others out there, my call for Dow 100,000 is actually considered pretty conservative. Ron Barron, for example, is a billionaire who recently called for the Dow to be at 650,000. And Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor of all time, has gone on record calling for Dow 1 million, saying that being short America has been a loser's game. And these guys, they aren't saying this will come to fruition in the next year or two, but it's all starting to unfold right now, John, right now.
Amazing. Okay, here's another question. This one from Chris. Eye-opening. Thanks for the insight. Do you actually have a proprietary indicator that measures economic velocity?
I sure do. I call it the EV score. It measures the speed money is flowing through the economy. If it is between 1 and 5, I know we're entering an economic slump. If it is 6 to 10, I know we're entering an economic boom. I've used basic versions of it for years to time the market.
Okay, and what's it at now?
A 10. This is a level we've never been at before. I'm telling you, John, this convergence of catalysts will flood the US economy with $121 trillion. Economic velocity will soar, sending the Dow up to 100,000, and I believe real estate will double too.
Wow. Okay, great. Now, one more quick question. Mark says, I love the charts you're showing. The pattern is clear. Do you have any additional support?
Great question. I have tons. Let me just pull up some examples for you. Here, let's take a look. Personal consumption is through the roof. People are spending more money than they've ever spent on things like cars, furniture, appliances, and so much more.
So that has to send economic velocity soaring, right?
Exactly. Last year, Americans spent nearly $15 trillion, John, $15 trillion. That's a 50% increase over the last decade. That's connected to this next chart, median household income. It is surging, John. It's reaching record levels, and it's central to economic velocity. With all this extra money, people can buy, and buy some more. This next chart, it shows how corporate America is benefiting from all this buying. Profits are surging higher, hovering near their highest levels in history. And our GDP, gross domestic product, is surging at its highest level ever. And here's a big one, John. Take a close look. What do you see here?
Well, it looks like manufacturing jobs are on the rise since 2010.
Exactly right. We have a way to go, no doubt, but it is a real solid start. This chart here shows household debt to income ratio. We're at historic lows, John. This means people are easily paying off debt and have plenty of money left over to spend. And that spending is fueling economic velocity. All this economic velocity has created more work, which is why the unemployment rate is coming down. It's now near an all-time low, steadily going down from 10% all the way down to sub 4%. You know, John, I just go on and on about this. I show you one economic report after another. Well, I think I've made my point here, John.
Now, Paul, this is mind-blowing. All these charts prove one thing. Our economic velocity is already raging.
Again, the Dow will surge to 100,000 and real estate will double. This is going to be a truly amazing time, John. Amazing. The companies that are at the forefront of America 2.0 will experience massive growth. If you invest in these companies, you will likely see enormous gains, 1,000% and higher over the next decade as all of this unfolds. Which is why, John, I want to get my number one stock in the hands of our viewers. It's already on the move. Big money is pouring in already.
Paul, I want our viewers to see that finding stocks like this, stocks that soar, it's what you do. It's who you are.
I don't just preach this stuff, John. I put my money where my mouth is.
You know, and I can't agree more. Now, I'm going to show you a few more of Paul's trades. And while the gains are impressive, there's a pattern I want you to see. So look closely and see if you can find it. The first example is Google. Now, when Google IPO'd in 2004, many experts recommended avoiding the stock. The Economist said the company was cursed, and famed investor Whitney Tilson said it would be disappointing. Many encouraged Main Street to invest in a safer company such as Yahoo. But you ignored their advice and you gave it a buy. In fact, you bought shares of Google at the IPO price of $85. Now, here's a screenshot of your statement from August 19th, 2004.
I went all in on this stock, John, as in I literally bought every single share my broker could possibly give me. And then I bought more a few days later on the 23rd for $110.
Okay, now fast forward a few years in Yahoo, the company so many experts were recommending tanked. Verizon eventually bought the company for a mere 5% of its peak value, but Google soared over $1,000, split and soared to $1,000 again. In all, it's up 2,400%.
It's pretty funny because even I forget how many people were so bearish on Google at the time, John.
Now, the exact same thing happened to Facebook. The media said, don't fall for the IPO scam. It's not yet proven it can make it in the mobile era, and it shoved itself over a cliff. But you could see Facebook was a bargain.
Totally. I waited for the fear to send the stock down a bit and then scooped up shares on the cheap.
Now, since then, Facebook has soared from $18 all the way up to $180, a 900% gain, enough to turn every $1,000 into $9,000. Same is true for Netflix. After its IPO, CNN reported the biggest danger Netflix faces is the specter of increased competition from the biggest name in home entertainment, Blockbuster, and said the first to the market usually means the first to fold. Paul, you bought Netflix at $23. Since then, Blockbuster went bankrupt, but Netflix has soared to over $300. That's up 1,300%.
I think it's worth noting, John, on that one, that I didn't buy Netflix until 2008 when I knew the future of streaming video was clear, but it was also a really tough time.
And it was during the worst of the Great Recession.
Exactly. I can remember my friends and family telling me I was crazy for investing in stocks like Netflix during a recession.
Well, it's a good thing that you went with your gut.
But that's the thing, John. My gut, it wasn't telling me to buy. It was actually screaming, don't buy, don't buy. However, I ignored my gut, the fear and all that. I ignored my friends and I ignored the media. Instead, I paid attention to the cold, hard facts, John, like my EV score. I knew the economy was starting to recover, and I knew companies like Netflix, Facebook, Google, these companies would boom. That same thing is true today. Everyone, John, today, it's fashionable to say that it's the end of America. But the data tells me otherwise. The data, such as my EV score, says that we are on the cusp of America 2.0, John. America 2.0.
Well, your ability to pay attention to the facts has certainly served you well. First of all, the pattern with Google, Facebook, and Netflix is quite clear. The media, they were looking backwards. You were looking forward. And as a result, they got it wrong each time while you clearly nailed it. These are the kinds of trades that have consistently handed you 100%, 500%, and 1,000% gains.
And I want to help our viewers do the same, John. I want to help them make thousands, then tens of thousands, and then I hope millions of dollars. And I'm not saying you should put all your money into these stocks. Please don't do that. Just put a portion in, 5%, 20%, maybe 50% into them. However, enough to make you feel a little bit edgy, but not too much to risk everything you've worked for.
Well, that's exactly what you've done to build your fortune. Now, I'm going to show you a few examples of your incredible investments. Once again, you will notice the gains are amazing, but if you pay close attention, you will see another pattern. For example, Paul invested in Exact Sciences back in 2010. This molecular diagnostic company is based in Madison, Wisconsin. It focuses on early detection and prevention of colorectal cancer. Paul bought shares for less than $5, and Exact Sciences used Paul's investment, along with millions of other dollars, to find ways to save lives. They had some breakthroughs, and the stock soared. Paul made over 300%. Ariad Pharmaceuticals, based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, is another example. This company focuses on breakthrough ways of discovering, developing, and commercializing therapies for patients with rare forms of cancer. Paul invested in the company at $6 a share. They used his money for research. They had some breakthroughs, and his investment soared over 600%. Paul also uncovered a stock by the name of Sarepta Therapeutics, also based in Massachusetts. The company used his money to develop a drug to treat muscular dystrophy, and it worked. He made a 2,500% gain. Now, it's not all medical, of course. Minnesota-based Stratasys is a 3D printing company. Paul made over a 200% gain with them. New Jersey-based Universal Display makes the material needed for computers, cell phones, and TVs. They handed out a nice 290% gain. Chicago-based Core Mining is another example. They mine gold, silver, and zinc in Nevada, Alaska, and South Dakota. Paul invested with them for about $1.80 and saw his profit soar to as high as 700%. There are hundreds of other examples. Paul, once again, these are incredible.
Thank you, John. And as you said, there is an absolute pattern to this. These are all forward-thinking, US-based companies. And when you invest in these companies, they use your money to hire Americans, fund research and development, and expand their product line. When they're successful, you will also be greatly rewarded as tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of dollars flood into your accounts.
Now, I agree, but finding the right stocks, that can be tough.
Which is why I'd be honored if you allowed me to be your guide, to show you exactly which companies to invest in. And it all starts with this report right here with my #1 stock pick.
Okay, so tell us more about this company and why you think it will soar 1,000%.
Sure. It's a relatively small company, John, that's based in South Carolina. It's valued at about $1 billion, but it is disrupting a $2.2 trillion industry.
All right, so a $1 billion company that's disrupting a $2 trillion industry. Okay, I can see why it's going to soar. Now, what industry, though, are you referring to?
Well, I'm talking about manufacturing. Manufacturing, if you look at it, John, it's the backbone of any economy. Really. America is really no different in that. And here's the thing. Since Henry Ford introduced the assembly line to the auto industry 100 years ago, manufacturing largely has remained the same. Sure, we've got robotics and computers making advancements, but there really hasn't been a disruption in manufacturing. But this $1 billion company, this company has the technology that I believe can change all of that.
Now, do you think that this company's technology could ignite an economic boom the same way the assembly line did?
I do, I really do. It's already beginning. This company is disrupting the auto industry, making better cars and making them faster. Housing is another area that is also becoming cheaper because of this company. Even the healthcare industry is seeing massive advancements. It already employs 2,000 hard-working Americans who are churning out almost $700 million in annual sales. Now, I believe the stock is about to take off. Right now, the stock is trading right around $10, but I think it could soar to $50 and then potentially even $100.
So a 1,000% gain, that's incredible. Now, you know most people hope for what, 10% a year at that rate?
If they're lucky. Yeah.
Okay, that would take 100 years to make 1,000%. But you're saying these gains could come within the next few years?
Absolutely, absolutely right. As little as 3 years. So you will want to invest in the stock soon because the big money, they've already begun to take notice. BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager, just bought 500,000 shares of this company. Vidant, which is another large asset manager, just added 400,000 shares. And Invesco Advisors, which has billions of dollars under management, just bought 8 million shares.
So they know this stock is a steal at $10.
Right.
Now, I assume you have all the details in that report?
I do. I give the ticker symbol, the buy price, and a ton of evidence proving that buying this stock is at the epicenter of America 2.0. But John, I'd be doing folks a disservice if I also didn't give them this. This is the blacklist. This is a list of 100 companies that are deemed as safe by the experts. But in reality, John, these companies, they are dead in the water. Companies that, according to my research, are destined to crash by 90% or more.
Now, with that said, Paul, I had a question come in that I think is a great transition to what I want to talk about next. Michael writes, Paul, love your story. Your track record is unreal. I'm in. Will you manage my money?
Well, those are very kind words, Michael, and thank you, but I don't manage money any longer. However, I can do something even better for you.
All right, well, explain what you have in mind.
All right, John, sure. So in 2016, I did something very controversial. I published my model portfolio and commentary on a website for a few folks to see. I didn't realize it then, but it unleashed a ripple effect that disrupted the way people invest.
So instead of giving the wealthy access for a hefty fee, you gave a few Main Street Americans access.
Right. Now that's gone completely viral, John. People flock to it, John. And so I created a research service around it. It's called Profits Unlimited. In short, it makes investing simple, fun, and most importantly, profitable.
All right, now I'm very familiar with your Profits Unlimited membership, and I have to agree, it does make investing simple, fun, and profitable. In fact, this is an entirely new way to invest. And I'd like to show you a few of the features. To summarize, Profits Unlimited gives you access to Paul and his investment insight. This is the model portfolio Paul just referenced. Now, I have a few things blacked out here because it's for members only, but as you can see, it is extremely easy to follow. There's the name of the stock, the current price, the buy price, the dividends, total gain, and the current recommendation. Now, what's real convenient is that when it's time to make a trade, Paul emails readers. For example, here's an alert from Paul from August 21st. It simply says, sell Salesforce.com at the market. And then it goes on to explain why he is making that recommendation. Those who made the trade locked into a solid 200% gain. Another aspect of Profits Unlimited subscription is the weekly video updates. These are usually a Q&A session. Paul fields questions and makes sure everyone is getting the best experience possible. He also talks about a few of the positions and on the market in general. Then there's the 8-page monthly dossier revealing the next investment opportunity. Paul takes a deep dive into the next big stock recommendation. It helps people see why he's recommending a stock. And anytime a person has a question, they can give the customer service team a call. Now, Paul, I've seen a lot over my career, but your Profits Unlimited is really something special.
Thank you so much for saying that, John. I really, really appreciate that. And you know what? From day one, the goal of Profits Unlimited was straightforward: to make investing simple, fun, and of course, profitable.
Well, and I think you've hit it out of the ballpark. Now, the results have been phenomenal. Just listen to what current members are saying. This note is from John and his wife, Victoria. They're small business owners from Buffalo. They showed this screenshot to Paul. It's their brokerage account from the year before they joined Profits Unlimited. They lost $9,600. They signed up for a Profits Unlimited membership, and in a year and a half, they made this, $998,000. On the letter, John wrote this: "Dear Paul, new condo on the ocean because of you."
That's awesome. Congratulations to John and his wife.
Now, this one is from Jan Hogan. She wrote, "I started managing my own IRA after my husband died in 2014. It has been really confusing, but when I became aware of your services in early 2017, they were just what I needed. Following your lead, my portfolio has grown $350,000. I pray for you and your family. Hope you feel a sense of fulfillment in your work. It is a source of hope and encouragement for me." Now, this is a note from Matt Benson, a construction worker from Whitehall, Pennsylvania. He writes, "Paul, my total amount of profit is," get this, $1,109,307. Your system is the real deal. Go ahead and tell everyone. I certainly am. Okay, here's one from Kim in San Diego. She wrote, "I can hardly restrain my joy. Your stock analysis and trade suggestions have helped. My retirement account has grown by nearly $400,000 in 3 short years." Here's one more quick one from Andrew in Indiana. He wrote, "Over the past 2 years, I've made enough profits through your guidance to be able to move up to a larger sailboat." Again, I could go on. Instead, I want to show a short video clip that sums up the experiences of these members.
Thanks for taking the time. Sandra, can you please give us your full name?
My name is Sandra Roberts. I'm here for myself and my husband, Thomas.
And how did you come to know all about this system?
Well, before we found Paul, we were paying financial wizards to lose money for us every month. Our balance was dwindling.
Well, what about now?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to Paul from the bottom of my heart. We have had a $300,000 gain in our portfolio.
Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for you.
It's wonderful. Our account is growing even as we live on it.
Sandra, congratulations. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming up today. Really appreciate that.
That is fantastic.
That's fantastic.
That's got to be satisfying.
Oh, gosh, love hearing that. That's so great.
All right, well, we have some more. As a matter of fact, I think we have Mr. Parks is going to step in. It is nice to see you, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Now, give us your full name and tell us your story.
My name is Louis Parks. And before I go on, I just want to say to Paul, I'm really glad that he left Wall Street to start taking care of the man on the street.
Thank you for saying that, Louis. I appreciate it.
You know, I started with you a few years ago, and I have since seen my account grow exponentially by $120,000.
I love it. That's fantastic. That's great.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for coming, Louis. Appreciate it.
That never gets old, I don't think. All right, finally, Mr. Gill, if you wouldn't mind, please stepping up here, sir. This is exciting stuff to me. I love this. Nice to meet you, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Hey, give me your full name and tell me your story.
My name is Joshua Gill, and I just wanted to let the people know that your system works.
That's great.
And I've made some fantastic gains. In fact, right now my profit is $1.1 million.
Wow. That's amazing.
The only thing I can say is congratulations. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate that.
Well done.
Now, Paul, what you're doing is revolutionary.
Thank you, John. It's a new way, really a new way to help Americans make money in the stock market. And it's time for someone to disrupt the industry. Fact is, John, it's dangerous, really. It's dangerous to hand over all your money to some so-called expert and have them invested for you. You know, the American Enterprise Institute found that 95% of professionals underperform the market.
But most people do worse on their own.
That's right. A recent study by Dalbar's quantitative analysis shows that individual investors underperform the market by more than 30%. With Profits Unlimited, you now have a third option. You can see my top insight, including my model portfolio and trade alerts. You take control of your investments. I'm simply a guide for you. And since 2016, the portfolio has clocked 1,410% in total gains, Sean.
Wow. Now, I think what I love most about Profits Unlimited is that it gives me a peace of mind. I look back to late 2018 when the market dropped by 20%. Because I remembered what you had to say during those tough times.
And I'll tell you, John, that was a pretty rough period, and people were panicking left and right. I got hundreds of emails from folks asking, should we sell? Should we sell? Should we sell everything?
But you told them not to panic. Now, listen closely to Paul's update from this very, very rough time.
We are here to make money. To make money in the stock market, you will need some courage. You will need some conviction. You will need some belief. You will need some guts, some tenacity, because stocks never, ever move up in a straight line. There are always ups and there are downs, and they will test you. They will test your fortitude. They will test your guts. They will test your courage. And those of you that make it through, those are the ones that end up making the money. What we have experienced in October and November was a panic where people sold eventually at any price that they could get. And already we are seeing the rebound where so many of our stocks are starting to move up.
Paul, now anyone listening to that knew that they should stay in the market. So how did you know the sell-off was temporary?
Because I knew that economic velocity, it was strong. It really comes back to this dollar. People were still spending, and economic velocity was still strong, and the companies we held, they were perfectly positioned, John, to soar higher. Now look, I just want to tell you, investing is hard. Don't try to do it on your own.
Now, to that point, you don't even find these investments on your own. You have a team.
I do. I have an incredible team of people, including a Bloomberg expert and a chartered financial analyst who helps me keep my emotions in check. So if I choose to get guidance, you know what? You should too. Let me and my team be your guide.
Now, exactly. Now, Paul, I've been following Profits Unlimited for a while. It makes investing easy. It takes less than 10 minutes a week to use. It's fun. you keep it entertaining, and most importantly, it's super profitable. Since its inception in 2016, you've shown people how to rack up total gains of 1,410%. And that includes a lot of open positions that still have room to run.
And it all comes back to the people, John. They inspire me. My hope and prayer for those watching, for you, is that they'll become a Profits Unlimited member. And in a few months, they'll send me a letter as well that they'll be telling me about how they made tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and then millions of dollars.
And I know you don't want anything holding our viewers back from what's at hand, which is why you and your team have kept the cost to join Profits Unlimited at the lowest level possible.
We have, John. Look, I've made my money now. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I feel a deep sense of responsibility to help my fellow Americans. I'm doing this so that they can make their American dream come true, just like I have.
Now, a one-year membership to Profits Unlimited is just, $97. Now, frankly, I believe that's a steal. Now, the two special reports you've promised today, they have a $200 value just by themselves. But to eliminate any and all barriers that could prevent folks from joining, you authorized your team to make a one-year subscription to Profits Unlimited available to the first 1,000 people who sign up today for only $47. That comes out to a mere $3.92 a month, less than a latte at a coffee shop. However, you want to go a step further.
I do. As you said, I don't want anything keeping folks away from their shot at what I believe are going to be massive gains. That's why I'm going to remove any last bit of doubt that they might have by joining me in the next hour by giving them a 1-year, 100% satisfaction guarantee.
All right, so to be crystal clear, you want them to take the next 12 months to review everything you're giving them access to: the model portfolio, the weekly update, the trade alerts and monthly briefings. And if you don't live up to their highest expectations, they can simply call your team and they will receive every penny of their $47 membership fee back.
That's right, John. No questions asked.
Now, it doesn't get any easier, any more risk-free than that. Paul, you've made it clear. America 2.0 is at our doorstep. It's undeniable.
Exactly right. But if you want to take part, you will have to act, and act now. With every minute that passes by, you're missing out on some truly, truly incredible gains. The speed at which America 2.0 is moving will pass by those who hesitate. And my number one stock isn't going to stay around $10 for long. I expect it to soar to $100 fast.
Well, Paul, you are one of America's top traders, a man whose fund was named the world's best and ranked in the top 1%, a man who's shown his readers 1,410% in winning gains in the last 3 years, helping Main Street Americans make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions. And now you're inviting our viewers to join you. Now, for just $47 a year, less than $4 a month, you can virtually look over Paul's shoulder and see his top investment recommendations. Just click on the button below to see how you can get started. I personally love Profits Unlimited, and I know you will love it too. But Paul wants to guarantee you will love it as well. That's why you will have a 1-year, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Try the next year out, an entire 12 months, and see if it's right for you. Most people who join never look back. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is yours for the taking. I urge you to take advantage of it today. It doesn't matter if you're a novice investor or a seasoned trader, if you are 20 years old or 100 years old. Profits Unlimited will give your portfolio a massive boost. And as Paul said, it makes investing easy, fun, and profitable. As America 2.0 unfolds, you will have the chance to invest in the companies that will build an even greater country. Just click the button below to get started. All right, Paul, it looks like we still have about 5 minutes to answer some questions that have come in.
Awesome, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Edward says, love what you are doing. but how much money do I need to invest?
Great question, Edward. It's really up to the subscriber. One could invest a few $100s into the stocks or a few million if you have that much money. We had a guy write in the other day, John, saying he used his profits to buy new tires for his car. Yet another woman wrote in saying she used the money to pay for a family vacation to Spain. So one invested a little, another invested a lot. It's best to start with what you are comfortable with and build up.
The great thing is, at $47 a year, less than $4 a month for a subscription to Profits Unlimited, there is very little to lose. Here's another question. Harold asks, I just signed up. Thanks. How much time will it take to follow Profits Unlimited?
As a new subscriber, it may take a few extra minutes during the first few weeks, maybe 20 minutes, but after that, most people spend 10 or 15 minutes watching my video updates, then reading my alerts and reviewing the model portfolio.
So, not a lot of time.
No.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, here's another. This one is from Susan. I want to join Profits Unlimited, but what if you were wrong and the market doesn't go up?
Great question. Look, if history completely alters course, if $121 trillion being infused into our economy doesn't lift the markets higher, if I'm wrong, then I believe the investments I recommend in Profits Unlimited will still go up. Fact is, these are companies that are at the forefront of new megatrends.
Now, I think that is a great lead-in to this next question. America 2.0 makes sense. You've got me pumped, but how do you know which stocks will go up?
So that's a super heavy question, John. We should make a note that there are no guarantees in the stock market, but to eliminate as much risk as possible, I use 3 core principles. First, I look for megatrends with billion-dollar markets. Think about artificial intelligence, precision medicine, the Internet of Things, autonomous cars, cloud computing, precision agriculture, new energy, and so many more. We want big, massive markets. Second, I look at the companies with strong leadership, not the famous names, the real leaders who know their businesses inside and out. And finally, I look at the financials to find the exact right time to buy. It's a lot more complicated than that, obviously, but that's the basics, John.
All right, great. Now, there's a couple of more notes coming in from folks who have already signed up. James writes, looks like I have finally found the right person to learn and grow from. And Larry says, thank you, Paul. You're the real deal. Here's a note from Jay. Loving this. Should have started a long time ago. Now, Matt has been a subscriber for a while. He says he is up 109% on one pick, 97% on another, and 90% on another. He then wrote, I couldn't be happier with these results, with the Profits Unlimited service as a whole. I hope all of your subscribers are having as much fun and success as I am. Now, this is a really good question coming up from Jeff. Really great presentation. I want to sign up, but I'm over 65. Is that right for me?
Here's the great thing. Age doesn't really matter. Some of my most successful members are over 80. Others are under 30. My suggestion is sign up and try it out. If you find out that Profits Unlimited isn't right for you, cancel it at any point in the first year and you will get 100% of your $47 subscription fee back.
Makes sense to me. Let's take a look at another email that came in. This one is interesting. From Tammy. If you really want to help us out, why not give it away for free?
Well, you know, John, that'd be nice, right? But I use the subscription fee to offset expenses. I have team members who help with my research, produce my webinars, send out my email alerts, and do so much more than that. So believe me when I say the $47 annual subscription fee is really there just to offset our costs.
All right, we got another question.
All right, John.
Now, this question keeps popping up again and again. Tom sums it up well. Paul, thanks, but curious, why are you doing this for us?
You know, it's the American thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Look, most people born in America don't know or appreciate how amazing this country is. And when I look throughout my life, John, there was always a person in each chapter of my life who helped me get to that next level. Janet Mitchell, for example, she was my boss at Bankers Trust in the mid-90s. She helped me to get my US citizenship. It was supposed to take 2 years, but it took 5 years, John. And she continued to help me out even after I stopped working at the bank. But that didn't matter to her. She did it because it was the American thing to do. The best example is my father. He's my hero. While he never lived in America, he knew the American dream very, very well. He taught me about a country that didn't have a caste system, where anyone could pursue life, liberty, and happiness. And then he paved the way for me to get here. There are dozens of other hardworking, salt-of-the-earth Americans who helped me, and they didn't have to.
But it was the American thing to do. All right, now it's your turn to give back. It's your turn to help your fellow citizens, to help me achieve the American dream the best way you know how, by picking out stocks destined to soar 100%, 500%, and even 1,000%. Stocks with the potential to surge no matter what the overall market does, right?
Exactly. Frankly, it's the American thing to do. Just think, our founding fathers, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, George Washington, and others, they invested everything they had into the new world, into our America, and they were greatly rewarded for it, financially and beyond. There are ripple effects that we, you and I, still feel 4 centuries later. In fact, take another look at this dollar. You know what it says underneath the pyramid here, John?
Well,
take a look.
let me see. It says Novus Ordo Seclorum.
You know what that is? That's Latin for a new order of the ages, John. A new order of the ages. Charles Thomson, the expert involved in the design of the seal, said it was to signify the beginning of a new American era. John, I believe we too are at the start of a new American era, of America 2.0. And those who act today will not only profit from it, they are going to help build it.
Wow. Well, Paul, it's clear that patriotism runs deep in your veins and that you believe investing in the future of America is more than just a profit opportunity. It is our duty to invest in companies that will create a better America for our children and our grandchildren. Let's take one more look at one final question. This one from Warren. I'm a conservative investor and love what you have to say, but do you ever lose money?
The truth is, yes, sometimes it can happen. No trading strategy is perfect. We have losing trades from time to time. But as I mentioned before, the total returns in our model portfolio are 1,410% over the last 3 years. That includes winning trades and losing trades.
Now, Paul, that is amazingly impressive. Okay, our time is up. So thank you so much for this interview. It's been extremely powerful. It makes me excited about the next 10 years as America 2.0 unfolds.
There's going to be ups and downs, but the next decade, I believe, is going to be an amazing time for those who invest in the right stocks, John.
Wow, great stuff. Paul, thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Now, once again, if you want to accept a risk-free subscription to Profits Unlimited, simply click the button below this video. It will take you to a secure order form where you can review everything we have to offer you today. You get all of this for just $47 a year. And if for some reason you don't like the opportunity to make tons of money, you can cancel it for a full refund, no questions asked. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose by clicking the button below this video. One final note, I've personally never met a guy like Paul. He's smart, humble, and most importantly, he's passionate about making others wealthy. Don't wait to get started. This truly is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm John Daly. Thanks for watching.